And on this video, we're going to be going over the top 10 first basemen right now. So let's get into it. What's going on, baseball fans? My name is Jeremy Laracuente, here for the Baseball Banter Broadcast on the Laracuente Ledger Network. And as I said in the open, we're going to be discussing my selections for the top 10 first basemen right now. Now, MLB Network does this list each and every single year, and we've done corresponding articles on Laracuenteledger.com for the last several years as well. So make sure you head over to Laracuenteledger.com and check out our corresponding article with this video. Now, before we get into my top 10 selections, I encourage you, baseball fans, sit down, take a look at the list of available first basemen, and make your list and see just how difficult it is to boil this list down to your top 10. Your personal bias, team favorite bias, all tend to factor in, and whether you value defense or offense a little bit more heavily for each and every position, it does factor in. So I encourage you to make your own list and see how closely you get to MLB Network's The Shredder and their official countdown. So before we get into my top 10, make sure if you haven't already done so, you hit that subscribe button and that bell down below to stay notified of every time we drop new content. There's a lot of things happening and coming up in 2021 from the Laracuente Ledger Network, as well as our sister channel, WeSib. So make sure you keep it locked into both channels by hitting the subscribe. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And my number 10 pick for the top 10 first basemen right now is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Now, Vladdy Jr. is a young first baseman. He was just recently moved to first base prior to the shortened 2020 campaign. So defensively, he was never going to be a standout at either third base nor first base, but his bat plays very big at either corner spot. So when you look at what Vladdy Jr. can provide offensively for the Toronto Blue Jays, it's going to be a major powerhouse force in the middle of that lineup. And because Vladdy is so young, he's going to do it for a very long period of time. So when you look at the 2021 campaign and who you want on your team as you head into that season, you're going to want a powerhouse threat at the position like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. So heading into number 9 on my list, it is the Philadelphia Phillies' Rhys Hoskins. When you look at what Rhys provides the Philadelphia Phillies, it is a premium complementary piece to Bryce Harper. The lefty-righty combination that they have is going to really be expounded upon this coming year. And I genuinely believe, watching Rhys Hoskins as much as I do, that he's going to be a breakout star in 2021. Yes, he had a huge cameo when he first came up a couple of years ago, but has not really reached that same level up until now. But I do think that with the maturity and the knowing he's going to be the consistent everyday first baseman of the Philadelphia Phillies, he's going to get a little bit more comfortable, a little more relaxed at the plate, and be able to pound the ball for the Philadelphia Phillies. As we head into number 8 is a guy who's been on this list multiple times, and that is Brandon Belt of the San Francisco Giants. When you look at Brandon Belt, this was a guy who was consistently on this list for being a good enough hitter and a very good glove. And now we have him being a very good hitter and a very good glove still. While he's not the same level of Gold Glove caliber first baseman that he used to be, he's still going to provide you a well above average glove. And when you factor in the stellar offensive year that he had in 2020, and it merits a spot on this list. How much further into the future Brandon Belt will remain on this list, we don't know. But for the 2021 season, based on what we had seen over the last year plus, I do believe that Brandon Belt is one of the top 10 first basemen right now. As we get into number 7 on my list, this is a man who was traded midway to the San Diego Padres, and that is Mitch Moreland. When you look at what Moreland was doing with the Red Sox prior to the trade, this was a guy who was absolutely on fire and deserving of all-star recognition. Now, as we head into the 2021 campaign, Moreland's going to continue to try to push forward that progress that he made on a consistent basis. Now, we will have to see how he continues that progress, but we also know that he's going to give you consistent at-bats and a very good glove in the field. When it comes to this list, for me, each and every year, consistency is key, and Mitch Moreland provides you with a consistent glove at first base every year and a very good approach at the plate. Now we stay in San Diego with my number 6 selection, and that is Eric Hosmer. Hosmer was once seen as the big prize acquisition of the San Diego Padres, and it was kind of a head-scratching move at the time. But now, a few years removed, we now see the Padres are really going after it, and Hosmer is at the heart of that. And being the heart of that San Diego Padres team is really going to push Hosmer into a upper echelon of first baseman. His offensive ability and defensive ability are going to bring the Padres to the next level in the National League West division. You look at what he does from an offensive perspective, he's going to give you rock star at bats each and every time at the plate and give you very good defense to help his infielders and kind of protect them from errors. When you are trying to build up a team, having a guy like Eric Hosmer who plays with the emotion and the passion and the power in his presentation, Hosmer is definitely a guy you want on your list. Now, before we get into our top 5, I want to encourage you guys once again, make sure that if you haven't already done so, you try to sit down and put this list together and realize just how difficult it is to narrow down and objectively try to come up with the top 10 first basemen right now. It is a much more difficult exercise than you would think possible for something as simple as putting together the top 10 at each position. When you look at the different statistical metrics, you kind of value different things over others. And that, to me, is where it becomes a very interesting and intriguing list. So I definitely want to hear from you guys. Let me know down in the comment section below where you agree or disagree with my list. And let me know your list as well. And we'll get into it down in the description below. So now as we head into our top 5 first basemen right now, we begin with the Mets polar bear, Pete Alonso. There's no doubt about it. Pete Alonso is one of the most powerful bats in Major League Baseball. We would see that in 2019 when he put up a 53 home run campaign as a rookie. Now, he would follow up this season and not be quite at that same level, but still well above average in terms of first base production and MLB production. When you look at what the Mets are doing and the team that they're building, they're going to give Alonso even more opportunities to drive in runs and hit for a big-time home run number. Adding Francisco Lindor really just gives him even more RBI opportunities because he's going to have more guys on base ahead of him. So when you look at what Alonso does for the offense of the New York Mets, there's no doubt about it that he merits a place on this list. Would he have been higher if his defense was a little better? There's a case to be made for that. But even still, this is the premium of premium when it comes to first base position, and Pete Alonso is a part of it. Now, as we head into the number 4 spot on the top 10 first baseman right now, that is going to be my first baseman, the New York Yankees, Luke Voit. When you look at what Voit has done since his acquisition by the New York Yankees, it's been hit, and hit with a high level of ability and consistency. Yes, Luke Voit is going to strike out quite a bit, but he's also going to hit for a decent average compared to most first basemen, and he's going to hit for very good power. Defensively, he's going to have a little bit lacking there, but he still is going to provide you with steady defense at first base. Offensively, the Yankees would not have been where they have been over the last couple of seasons without Luke Voit and DJ LeMahieu, but more on DJ for another video. But when you look at what Voit does for the New York Yankees, he gives you a consistent at-bat, and again, consistency is huge for me when it comes to the top 10 right now. Heading into the 2021 campaign, Luke Voit is going to be a key contributor for the New York Yankees and their attempt to head back to not just the World Series, but to win the World Series. And Luke Voit's going to be a big part of that. So now as we get into the top 3 first basemen right now, we start with Paul Goldschmidt. Now, as I said and have said throughout this video, consistency is key, and none have been as consistent as Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt is a guy who's going to give you the approach that you want for each and every one of your players. He's going to play hard, he's going to give everything he has, and he's not going to do it with a lot of flair, dramatics. He's going to give you what you look for each and every single year. When you look at Paul Goldschmidt's career, he's never been worse than 15% better than league average. Now, that's saying a lot, but the simple gist of it is Paul Goldschmidt is better than everybody else by at least 15% even on his worst season. And his worst season did come in 2019, so there was a lot of thought that maybe the age and he would start declining, but he picked it right back up in 2020. And heading into the 2020 season, there are few first basemen that you can rely on more than Paul Goldschmidt. Now, as we get into the top two, one of the two first basemen that is as reliable as Goldschmidt is that of the Chicago White Sox, Jose Abreu. Abreu would win his first AL MVP last season during the 2020 campaign, and for a good reason. Abreu would dominate the box score each and every night, putting up 60 RBIs along with 19 home runs, and would have an incredible slash line. When you look at his slash line for the 2020 campaign, it was 317, 370, 617. Abreu has been, again, just like Paul Goldschmidt, a poster boy for consistency each and every year. Now, Abreu's not going to give you the glove that Goldschmidt does, but the bat for Abreu is going to be next level stuff. But the glove is really what separated Abreu from that number one spot. And the number one first baseman, in my opinion, is Freddy Freeman. When you look at Freddy Freeman, this has been a model of excellence. There's no doubt about it. When you look at what he does on the defensive side by saving his infielders' errant throws, and when you look at what he provides the team offensively, there is none better than Freddy Freeman at the first base position. Over the 2020 campaign, Freddy Freeman would hit 13 home runs, drive in 52 RBIs, but he would have a slash line of 341, 462, and 640, totaling an OPS plus, according to BaseballReference.com, of 186. Again, league average is 100. So Freddy Freeman was 86 percentage points better than a league average first baseman. There's no doubt about it. The MVP was well deserved by Freddy Freeman, and in my opinion, a long time coming. But I want to hear from you guys. Let me know down in the comment section below. Do you believe that Freddy Freeman was the best first baseman in all of Major League Baseball? Do you disagree with my list entirely? Are there pieces and players that you agree with? Let me know your list down in the comment section below, and we'll discuss it further. As I said in the open, make sure that if you haven't already done so, you subscribe to the Laracuente Ledger Network and our sister channel WeSibs, as we have a lot coming from the Laracuente Ledger Network and our WeSibs collaboration. So make sure you check out our Patreons as well and join us there for the ton of exclusive content coming to our Patreon. So this has been my top 10 first basemen right now, and I will catch you guys when the latest news, notes, and my personal theories for Major League Baseball have to drop. Peace.